Hey everybody, it's Kanan here and welcome to Switchheads, the home of Switch gaming. And today we're going to be reviewing Destropolis? Something like that anyway. A top-down shooter with a fully destructible sort of environment with tons of enemies and even nuclear explosions. But does it play well and is it any good? And so diving straight into the game, it's 1 to 3 player, which is quite odd but quite unique at the same time. And rather than going into any type of story worthwhile, we have a gore chasing game. Yet again, there are many of them around. And so after an explosive start, to the top left you can see the score and the levels you are on. After each level goes up, you gain the ability to have a kind of like a special ability or a skill as it is. That puts up different stats like your health, your shield, weapon cooling, because yes, your weapon has a cooldown and if you go and overheat it you'll stop firing, weapon rate of fire when stationary, and all other things like that. And they're all called different things like mind over matter or mind and matter generation, crystal ice, super senses. And as I said, every time you go up a level you gain another one. And so to the top right you have your health and then your shield and what weapon that you have. You can have multiple weapons at the same time, and you start with a normal gun, and if you pick up other weapons like a rocket launcher or a SMG or something like that, or a shotgun, basically you can only shoot a certain amount of shots from them, and once that's done you go back to your normal gun. And so as you play the actual game itself, there are blue like tool line things that basically change your weapon for you. You go over to them, you press the button to pick it up, and there you go, you got a new weapon. And then there's yellow ones that kind of like give you like different abilities like slowing down time or bullet time, and loads of other neat and fun results like calling in a ground strike or a nuclear bomb exploding. And so gameplay is basically you're firing at all these cubes, red cubes, and trying to stay alive. The more and more you stay alive, the more and more cubes come after you. All the building like things, as you can see, the white things, they're all destructible, and as you pick up weapons and get further and further in, there's different types of cubes that come out at you, some that fire lasers at you and some that do other things. There are in the end quite a few different cubes out there, but yeah, it is actually quite hectic at times, and it will take a bit of skill once you really get into it. Graphically, it's kind of a simplistic type look to it, a very minimalistic, I would say, type look, and I think it actually works. The further you get on, more different shapes, I suppose, comes after you. And yeah, I think it works. It's not overly extravagant, but it's kind of nice to see a bright type of shooter instead of all dark and gloomy for once. As for the sound, that works too. I really like the sounds of the weapons. They, to me, do actually sound quite meaty and quite weighty. The machine gun does actually have quite a good sound to it. The music's acceptable, it's okay. I do like the music. When you go into the menus it slows down. I do like when bullet time comes on, it also slows it all down, and it sounds really cool. And as for the gameplay, well, to be honest with you, it's quite difficult but also quite easy. It's kind of like a strange mix. For instance, from the beginning it's kind of like you don't want to play the beginning because it's too easy, so you're like faffing around for a bit, and then as soon as it like ramps up you'll be like have these cubes all around you everywhere, as you can probably see from my gameplay, and then new things come at you and start firing lasers, which is kind of shocking as well. There are some weapons that I felt a little bit too overpowered, like the big laser. Once you get that, you could pretty well take on almost anything that's on the board. Luckily enough, okay, they don't last forever. Now I will also admit that I've had more fun than I thought with this game, as I thought I'd be kind of like, to start with, bored with it quite quickly, but you know what, I think I'll play this a bit more. It is a score chaser type game, so within that, yeah, It's got lastability if you like that sort of thing. I'm not so much on that, but I like the style of this game. I really do. And so I rate games out of 5, and I'm going to give Destropolis, however you pronounce it, a quite nice 3 out of 5. Now, I would not say that this is the best game I've ever played, which is why I've given it 3 out of 5. But it definitely kind of like reaches up into that just about over average type game, mainly because it's slightly different to almost everything else out there at the moment. It kind of dared to be a bit fresh rather than just, you know, boring and go for the whole dark and gloomy type thing again. It also's got that, I don't know, that red and white reminds me of a certain other game, and that kind of like just sparks some joy in my head because I love that other super game, shall we say. And yeah, I think that's kind of like a subliminary thing in my brain. So come on, are you going to pick this one up? I think you should, actually, for the price. I think you definitely should. Let me know down below what you think about it. Let me know, you know, if you get a decent score on it. I'm kind of crap at it, but I am plodding on and enjoying it so far. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. You'll be doing us a huge favour, and come join us with the Switchhead family, because life is better when we all switch together.